Officials say the man may have held this woman captive aboard a small boat along the Mississippi for as long as 2 weeks. The FBI today has ruled out kidnapping in a case that ended up here at Lock and Dam 21 just south of Quincy. The police tape on this gate is the only thing separating us from a crime scene that Quincy investigators are now calling a possible homicide. What it was like to get the phone call to realize how she died and that texting was the reason behind it. We just started this process maybe 20 minutes ago and we're already seeing it harden. Really left, really left. When it comes down to each kid, what they get to spend, about $60. We've already been rooting for the Quincy Gems this summer. Some great games going on, but one you're not going to want to miss is the All-Star game tonight.
And that's against the military All-Stars.
Right. Yeah, Dave Comer Chicken Man is out on the patio with us. The new marketplace hits the web on October 1st at a site that allows you to search for the best and affordable health care for you and your family. Now, breaking down the cost of the Affordable Care Act gets really tricky and complicated. In fact, if you talk to a lot of people, even in the healthcare industry, their answer is they simply don't have one for an exact cost. I found out that's true everywhere you go, but I do know it all starts right here. Beginning on January 1st of next year, an estimated 30 million Americans will have health insurance previously denied to them for a variety of reasons. Some health providers and the federal government disagree about what it will cost to insure the previously uninsured.
The most expensive place to go to seek health care is to an emergency room.
For nearly 50 million uninsured Americans, the ER is their only option.
And they have to receive care. Those hospitals receive federal money for charity care to help pay for that care for the uninsured.
The federal government says the Affordable Care Act will not add to the federal deficit, but rather shift the funding to better uses.
If we are reducing the number of uninsured by 20, 30, 40 million, we don't need all of that federal dollars for charity care. That charity care dollars are being shifted to help pay for things like the tax credits, the subsidies, Medicaid expansion.
In the end, it's so worth it to have people able to sleep well at night, knowing that they won't be hit with a medical bill that could take them under.
Amy Whitcomb-Slemmer comes from Massachusetts, where 96% of its residents are insured. The state implemented a law similar to the Affordable Health Care Act back in 2006, signed by then-Governor Mitt Romney. She said many people then voiced concerns about the potential for insurance rate spikes.
Health insurance rates actually went down so that individuals and some small businesses had significant savings based on the fact that there were more people to insure and they had access to better services than what they had before we implemented the law.
Slemmer says the state is just now starting to see a difference in the number of ER visits. She expects that number to drop significantly with more reform in the state's healthcare delivery. That would include additional walk-in clinics and longer hours at the doctor's office. But not all doctors agree this will work.
You'd like to believe that you're going to reduce the number of emergency room visits, you're going to reduce length of stays, you're going to actually keep people out of the hospital, which is going to reduce costs. And some of that will happen, but I just don't know whether from a bookkeeping perspective it's going to really balance it out.
Dr. Lynn Johnson with the Hannibal Clinic says it could cost some physicians their jobs.
You are seeing nationwide significant consolidation of health care. You are seeing a significant reduction in the number of private practice physicians in this state as well as in many other states. And what's happening is you're getting large systems, hospital systems and multi-hospital systems, which are really becoming the dominant players in healthcare.
Analysts say it could take months, if not years, to realize the total cost of the Affordable Care Act. To read more about the costs associated with the Affordable Care Act, you can head to our website at connecttristates.com, where you'll find more information on the marketplace. Again, that takes effect on October 1st, where you can sign up. Also, tomorrow at 5 o'clock, HQA has a special healthcare marketplace now, where you can get all your questions answered from local healthcare professionals.
Honoring our veterans for the respect that they're due is one of the most important things that comes out of the museum.
Bob Craig's story is one of thousands centered around the front lines of freedom throughout our country's history. His memories are part of a collection inside the All Wars Museum on the campus of the Illinois Veterans Home in Quincy.
I think it's something that needs to be done. There's been so much sacrifice for this country.
More than 5,000 artifacts date back to the 1600s.
Everything in the military as far as arms is in numerical order.
And when it came to a manufacturer of Civil War cannons,
out of the 387, this is number 1. World War I was the first war where gas was used. This is a type of alarm.
a more familiar sound during the attacks of World War II.
The World War II generation is known basically as a stoic generation that don't talk much. But when they're in here, they talk a lot.
Lifelike dioramas depict soldiers on the ground during the invasion of Normandy in 1944.
It shows the assault and the landing boats.
True recordings from D-Day can be heard in the backgrounds of each scene, some recognizable from past wartime movies.
This scene happens to be the bridge scene at the end of Saving Private Ryan.
This traveling whiteboard carries the names of thousands of Vietnam veterans who fought with the weight of the world on their shoulders. Kruno Markowicz is one of them. He's a resident at the Illinois Veterans Home who's lived through his share of war.
I've seen 3 of them. I was born in one in World War II, was in Vietnam. Third one was when Yugoslavia fell apart, 91 to 95.
Some may choose to read about history, but here you can relive it alongside a handful of veterans who volunteer at the museum. With our current armed forces overseas, you're guaranteed to find an ever-changing memorial for the present war on terrorism.
We have had a lot of stuff come in from the returning vets from Iraq and Afghanistan. We actually have a piece of marble from one of Saddam's palaces, and then also parts of a crystal chandelier in one of his palaces.
Pieces that provide a collective yet personal insight into wartime experience.
They're serving on behalf of all of us that are back here, and that's a gift that they give us while we're still living, and a gift that they give to the following generation.
Brooke Hasch, KHQA News, Quincy.